Yesterday we discussed the shaila of the insurance, and Baruch Hashem had a lot of people investigating. You would think such a simple question as calling up the insurance company and finding out what is the policy, even looking in the actual policies themselves, not so simple. But I want to stress something very important, and that is, even in Shulchan Aruch, we spoke about the concept of taus akum, a mistake that the non-Jew makes. So in Shulchan Aruch it says you could keep it. On the other hand, Shulchan Aruch says if there's a question of Chilul Hashem, and the opposite, of course, which is the Kiddush Hashem, then you should do it. And especially today, the Pele Yoetz writes, where there's so much scrutiny, especially about Talmidei Chachamim, and this really extends to anyone that's walking around with a yarmulke, someone that's a frum Jew, someone that's keeping Torah and mitzvahs and represents really the teachers of humanity. How much more so a person should be careful, and this is written of Lezer Papa, was the one that wrote Pele Yoetz, I think it's like in the 1800s. He's writing already then how people are always looking, the chap, see, that guy, the chazusha guy, the guy with the yarmulke, with the black yarmulke. So halachas kama v'kama, especially today, and I saw this, I never saw it inside, but I saw it a few places quoted that the Yashiv, Coren Levacha, said that the mitzvah, every generation has a mitzvah, specific mitzvah to that generation. This generation, it's a mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. So therefore, although maybe in the past someone asked me a shayla, I would say halach is tos akum, and you're allowed to keep it. Today, I think that a person, if he has an opportunity, should grab it to call up, and whatever the situation is, especially in insurance, and say, this is what happened. I made a claim, but I found it, or you gave me extra change. I want to return it. Again, if they say, keep or whatever it is, okay, it's a different question. But if a person today has an opportunity to be Mekadesh Shamayim and show what it means to be what we call today a mensch, it's interesting. In Yiddish you say, you got to be a mensch. Zayt a mensch. That mensch means an Adam. Chazal say in the Gemara Yavamas, Atem Kruyim Adam, whole big controversy what that means exactly. But we're called Adam means that we're supposed to teach humanity, a mensch, what it means to be a mensch. Derech eretz, Kadmon LaTorah. That concept we introduced. And someone told me the most amazing story. I can't get over this story. I was already dying to say this story. Chesa told me a story from Simcha Bunim Cohen. Simcha Bunim Cohen in Lakewood. So very close to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. She has fascinating stories just of Rabbi Moshe. Rabbi Moshe was the Gadol Adol, the Paisek Adol. You'd imagine, it's funny, you see that many times the greatest leaders didn't have the biggest shul, didn't have the biggest olam. So he was describing what it was, Shalosh Shidduchos by Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, Zichron Levacha. Anyone ever witnessed it? So Rabbi Moshe had maybe 10, 15 guys Shalosh Shidduchos. And when he used to speak for Shalosh Shidduchos, he used to basically open up the Chumash right before he would speak. He would look a little bit for a few minutes. And then he would say a simple machshava. From Rabbi Moshe, it wasn't a simple machshava, but it wasn't like, wow. I'm not saying it wasn't a wow, but it wasn't presented as a wow. He gave a shmooze. Anyway, one Shabbos, Shalosh Shidduchos, the Gadol Adol turns to Simcha Bunim Cohen and he says, listen, I don't really have anything to say. Maybe you could say. Imagine today a Rav would say that, he'd be fired. So he turns to Simcha Bunim Cohen and Simcha Bunim says himself, he said, no, I have a vort from last week, but I don't really have something for this Shabbos. So Moshe says, he points to a guy at the end of the table that, with an interesting hat, whatever. He said, maybe that guy has a nice, could share something with us. So Simcha Bunim goes over to this guy. He asks me, you want to say it about? He says, of course. So he says, he starts speaking. So Moshe Feinstein, right when this guy started speaking, pulls himself up to the edge of the chair. And Mamash is intently listening to every word. Like this person was Mamash, it was like, who knows, Moshe Rabbeinu. Now what's interesting, Moshe Feinstein, believe it or not, didn't know English. He didn't understand English. Lashon HaKodesh in Yiddish, or maybe probably Russian. He did not know English. So Simcha Bunim afterwards turned to Moshe after the whole episode. He said to Rabbi, you don't really know English. You look like you were so into it. So Moshe said 100%. He said, you have to understand. Motzei Shabbos, I'm going to start paskening shaylas. I'm going to have to pasken all these shaylas. Chazal say, derech eretz Kadmon LaTorah. If I don't show this guy derech eretz, if I don't show this person how interested I am in what he's saying, how can I go pasken shaylas afterwards? Imagine the voice of the Gadol. Today, if someone speaks, this and that, Moshe sat by this simple guy listening to every word because he felt that if not, he can't pasken shaylas. That's the Gadol.